Gentlemen, we gather here to explore perhaps the most profound question: the existence of God. Nietzsche, Chesterton, both of you have spent much of your lives pondering this. Let us begin by hearing your thoughts, and perhaps from there we may understand one another's arguments better.
Socrates, thank you. Let me begin. The concept of God, in my view, is a human construct. It is a way to impose order on a chaotic world, a meta-narrative that reflects our need for control. God, as traditionally conceived, is a crutch for weak minds unable to endure the vastness of the unknown. In The Gay Science, I wrote, "God is dead and we have killed him." This death of God, Socrates, is the liberation from all illusions. Man now becomes his own creator, forging his own values, discovering meaning in life through himself, not through some external deity. To believe in God is to deny human potential.
I thank you, Nietzsche, but your argument is rooted in a misconception of God. You assume God is a mere psychological crutch or a construct created by weak men. But God, as I understand him, is not a problem to be solved, but the answer to the questions you seek. In The Everlasting Man, I argue that God is not merely a construct, but rather the reason behind existence itself. To deny God is to deny the very existence of meaning and purpose. You claim man becomes his own creator. But what sort of creator can justify morality, purpose, and the laws of logic that underpin all reality? Without God, I see a void where those laws and values lose their foundation. Your death of God, Nietzsche, is not liberation, but despair.
Gentlemen, you both present powerful arguments. Nietzsche, you highlight the human impulse to seek autonomy and transcendence from God, presenting him as a construct of human need. Chesterton, you counter by asserting God's role as the necessary foundation of meaning and morality. Nietzsche, what is your response to Chesterton's claim that without God, meaning dissolves?
Socrates, Chesterton's error lies in his misunderstanding of reality. The idea that meaning is only possible with God is a reflection of his own need for absolutes. But look at the world. Meaning arises from human action, from our struggles, our creation of values. You speak of morality and logic. Where did they come from? Man, in his own evolution, created these values. They are not fixed entities bestowed by a higher power. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, I wrote of the overman, the goal of humanity who creates his own values. The void Chesterton fears is not an absence but an opportunity, a freedom from imposed moral codes.
But Nietzsche, what of the moral order and the principles that hold human civilization together? Without a transcendent source, from whence come these principles? If man creates morality, then by what standard does he measure goodness or evil? In orthodoxy, I argue that without God, there is no fixed reference point for right and wrong. Your overman may strive for values, but who decides what is right and wrong when all values are fluid? Surely a chaotic world where each man is his own standard leads to relativism and ultimately despair.
Chesterton, you suggest that morality depends on a higher authority, God, yet Nietzsche claims that morality arises from human creation. Nietzsche, how do you address Chesterton's concern about moral relativism?
Socrates, Chesterton confuses authority with morality. Authority, be it God or some absolute standard, imposes limits, while morality emerges through human experience. We humans create values in response to our circumstances. In the genealogy of morals, I trace how morality evolves through life affirmation and life denial. Morality itself is not fixed, but rather shaped by our needs, our struggles. There is no ultimate authority. There is only the continual re-evaluation of values in the face of life's challenges. A morality without God is not relativism, but an organic evolution driven by our own needs.
But Nietzsche, if morality is constantly shifting, then how can there be stability or a grounding for human dignity? You speak of life affirmation, but what of those who seek destruction or nihilism? In The Everlasting Man, I maintain that the human desire for stability and dignity presupposes a constant, unchanging source of truth, God. Without such a source, how do we determine which values to hold or reject? Is not your view a dangerous path leading to chaos and nihilism?
Chesterton, you argue for God as the foundation of morality, but Nietzsche counters that morality is fluid and created by man's struggle with existence. Nietzsche, Chesterton raises the concern of moral relativism leading to chaos. How do you respond?
Socrates, Chesterton's concern with chaos is rooted in fear of freedom. Stability does not come from an external authority, but from the internal striving of individuals. When men create values for themselves, they take responsibility for them. It is the very process of making choices that brings about stability, not a fixed moral order. Nietzschean morality, built on the death of God, is one of creation, not destruction. The overman does not fear chaos, he embraces it, for within chaos lies the possibility of growth and meaning beyond imposed norms.
Yet Nietzsche, you speak of embracing chaos, but what of human nature, which often succumbs to sin and destruction? Without a fixed moral compass, men might fall into worse forms of despair and self-destruction. In orthodoxy, I argue that it is not chaos that provides meaning, but the returning to a fixed order, the divine. Is it not the very recognition of our sinfulness that demands an external reference point to guide us away from despair and towards redemption?
Chesterton, Nietzsche asserts that human beings, through their own will and struggle, shape morality and meaning. How do you respond to the notion that humanity possesses the potential for greatness without the need for divine authority?
Socrates, Nietzsche's confidence in human will is admirable, but it is founded on a shaky premise. History, with its cycles of sin and redemption, shows that without a fixed moral framework, humanity tends to repeat its mistakes. The necessity of divine authority is not just a philosophical assertion, but a historical reality. The chaos Nietzsche envisions is not creative, but destructive. My position is not merely faith, but an acknowledgement of human frailty that demands external guidance to ensure the survival of human dignity and truth.
Both Nietzsche and Chesterton have presented compelling arguments. Nietzsche, you assert the creation of values through human struggle. Yet Chesterton warns of moral chaos. Chesterton, you speak of divine order. But Nietzsche counters that morality evolves through human affirmation. Do either of you believe there is a possibility of reconciling your views? Or are you destined to remain at odds in this discussion?